I guess there's a lot of heavy types of cleans that trauma cleaners go into, and we didn't want people to just watch a film and feel really heavy leaving the cinema. But at the same time, we wanted to show a little bit about, for context, what some of these scenes looked like, and so you could see what these guys are dealing with every single day.
What is Clean about?
Clean is about many things, but it follows the journey of Sandra Pankhurst, who's the owner of a trauma cleaning company. They clean all kinds of things. So they'll clean up scenes of death, murders, suicides, natural deaths, but they'll also clean hoarding sites. They have a lot of domestic clients who are basically people that need cleaning every single week to stay on top of their house, and maybe they've got a mental disability or physical disability, something like that.
Could be you, could be me, could be anyone tomorrow. That's why I don't judge anyone, because you just don't know what's going to happen. And life can be very fragile. They can just...
The initial reason I wanted to tell the story was because it was a foreign world I didn't know anything about. But once I got to the trauma cleaning company, met Sandra, and Sandra was absolutely hilarious. Had this very unique, compassionate take on trauma cleaning, which I didn't expect at all. And then I kind of met all the workers. They all had very interesting backstories. They all had kind of traumas of their own, like Sandra had, and also had this very compassionate lens to doing this difficult job.
So I'm a trauma cleaner because I enjoy helping people. Funnily enough, I'm not really that big a fan of cleaning.
And on top of that, I feel like we all kind of know what the police does and what the fire brigade does, but trauma cleaners serve such an important role in society, but we don't really know what they do. So I guess there was a few things that in the end I connected with this story and why I thought it was an important story.
Was it difficult at all to get Sandra, on board with the documentary?
Yes and no. I think like any project, people are always going to take time to warm to you and to warm to what you're doing. Luckily, Sandra kind of loved being on the camera, so that helped. I reckon it took about a year before she started to trust us and trust the crew, and kind of we could just willingly rock up and film whatever event was happening. But it's just like any human relationship, I guess it takes time, and by the end of it, she loved what we were doing and being a part of it.
And that's why I say don't give up and be positive, because you don't know where it's going to end you or take you to.
How often were you filming with Sandra? Was it only when kind of specific events were happening?
Initially it was, because we hadn't necessarily got secured funding throughout the whole process, and it was probably 3 years of filming in the end. So initially it was filming things that we felt were really important to the story, and then as funding came through and we were able to go really intense the last 6 months and get a lot of material then.
Are there any others that any of those kind of jobs that you went to that kind of stand out in your mind?
I guess some of the hoarding ones were quite confronting, and there was one that was the hoarder had passed away. It was a level 9 out of 10 hoarding job, which means basically the rubbish ended up being nearly to the roof. It was just a strange eeriness to being in the house, because you could look around and you could imagine, you could see everything this person was consuming. And as they were cleaning further and further down, you could kind of see the really important things as well they'd collected and from their childhood that they'd kept on to. So it was kind of, you got a sense of who they were in a way that you wouldn't in going into a normal house, I guess.
What impact do you feel like making Clean has had on you personally?
I guess a lot of the bigger messages in the film, like that are basically the types of messages the workers in Sandra had, which is, care, compassion, dignity, don't judge people, don't look down on other people, realize in these kind of traumatic situations that these kind of things can happen to you too. I think one of the things I didn't realize either before we made it was how common like these houses are, and obviously you can't tell from the outside of a house, but we were going into rich suburbs regularly where there were massive hoarding cleans, which you wouldn't necessarily expect. They all had their own stories, and most of the time it was it was because of some kind of trauma that had led them to that circumstance.